So it was a lot of those kind of elements in there where people just
Sometimes people just ruin a good thing.
yeah, just cause like y'all would be together if it wasn't for me.
You gotta have the courage to find Steve Harvey and say, Steve, sir, show me how you did it. Show me how you made it with no talent.
Bernie said, I walk alone. He said that all the time. We've heard it 1,000 times in interviews and everything.
Cedric the Entertainer, one of the original kings of comedy, is revealing shocking new details about Steve Harvey's beef with the late Bernie Mac. And while Steve previously admitted he and Bernie butted heads, it turns out Steve also did something very sneaky to sabotage Bernie's career. Out of the 3 living members of the original kings of comedy, Steve Harvey is the one who enjoys the most fame and money. But does that mean he was the funniest one? Well, many fans would disagree with this, and while we can't take away from Steve the fact that he works very hard, rumors about him stepping on people and doing some questionable business behind the scenes to move ahead have been swirling for years. And after Cedric the Entertainer recently opened up about Steve's beef with the late Bernie Mac, new details resurfaced about how Steve was allegedly doing the most to sabotage Bernie's career. And some fans are even going so far as to claim that Steve sacrificed Bernie for fame. But what exactly did Cedric reveal about Steve hating on Bernie? Did Steve really try to sabotage Bernie's career? Let's get into it.
Like, okay, bruh.
Like nobody you ain't told her one joke.
Nobody coming to see you.
It's no secret that TV host Steve Harvey and comedy legend Bernie Mac didn't see eye to eye during their Kings of Comedy days. However, some shocking news stories recently appeared in the media about Steve actively working to sabotage Bernie's career and get him blacklisted in Hollywood. And these stories are actually really disturbing when you think about how Steve cried at Bernie's funeral and how he still talks about him like they were friends. What's also disturbing is that Bernie himself directly accused Steve of sabotaging him, and yet Steve managed to brush this under the rug. So back in 2003, Bernie did an interview with GQ magazine and accused Steve of being jealous of him and trying to steal multiple movie roles from him, including Ocean's 11. According to the GQ article, someone from Steve's team called the Ocean's 11 director, Steven Soderbergh, and tried to push for Steve to get the part over Bernie. When asked how he felt when he learned about this, Bernie told GQ, "The Hollywood game that we are in, it's a cold game." Bernie then went on to say something very interesting about how celebrities in Hollywood are controlled, and he explained why he didn't want to stoop to that level and retaliate. The sad thing about it is, all of us are doing well, so I don't really see the problem. It didn't bother me because I see the big picture, Bernie said. When they told me about it, what could I do? I'm not gonna sling mud. I'm not a rapper. I tell jokes. I try to make people laugh. I'm not gonna sling mud. Steve and anybody else can say whatever they want to say. Ain't nobody got no control over me. I have the control. Bernie also accused Steve of being an egomaniac and said, go back and look at the Kings of Comedy tapes. Whenever he introduced his buddy, Cedric the Entertainer, it was all about himself. So yeah, I knew about it. Did it piss me off? Nah, you can't piss me off. You ain't that good. After this, Bernie realized just how two-faced people can be when they're desperate for fame and success, and he decided to distance himself from Hollywood. There wasn't anything for me out there, Bernie told GQ. And referring to his wife and daughter, he added, I had the best right here at home. However, when Steve was later asked about Bernie's comments from the GQ article, he denied everything and said he was angry with Bernie for saying all that. In 2010, 2 years after Bernie passed away from complications of pneumonia, Steve appeared on Conversations with Ed Gordon, and when asked about Bernie accusing him of trying to steal his movie roles, Steve said, I was upset at first because it just wasn't true. Me and Bernie had a lot of good times together, and then this article in GQ came out and put all this vicious stuff in there. So Steve basically tried to make it look like GQ exaggerated the whole situation.